Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Hey. It's going. Um, uh, this is
Is
exciting.
it?
Hi, Shannon. Hi, everyone listening. Yes, it is very exciting. Here's why. It is almost what month, Shannon?
October?
That's fucking right.
Okay.
It's almost October. It's my month. It's your month. It's our month. It's the podcast month. We have never had an October during which we have been recording Scary Talk because, mind you all, this podcast has not been around for more than a year. Well, actually, less than a year as of now. So, no October. I feel like we should do something special. I don't know what. Something that just has like a punch to
Yeah.
it. We'll talk about
Punch
it
me,
later. But
honestly. Just come right over here and just punch me out. Um, I want to
um,
I want to clarify, we haven't had the podcast in October in this dimension, but for all we know, there's thousands others where we
yeah.
have.
Yes. Yes, Shannon 2.0 and Andretron have had scary talk during October in Dimension Andromeda 3.527. And in their reality, I guess they've already had that punch, but we haven't yet. We have to figure something out and make it happen for October. Um, uh, Hi, how are you?
I'm hanging in there. I'm ready to talk about ghosts because I'm ready to be one. Just in time for Halloween, spooky. Ooh.
I don't know if you're saying that you're dressing up as a ghost or you actually want to die, but I mean, either sounds like you, so I say good. Thumbs up. Um,
In all seriousness,
so
Andre, like the thing I look forward to most around this season is all like the goodies, which I know is just totally bad, but like Starbucks always has like a special like frappuccino that's like, Halloweeny. Like they had a Dracula one where there's like blood running down it. They had like a Frankenstein one, and like I eat that shit up. Like I think they always taste kind of disgusting, but the way they look is just beautiful, and that warms my heart, you know?
Aw, that is beautiful. Long live capitalism. Thank you, capitalism, for all the goodies you bring us during
To
the October
distract us
season.
from the truth.
Um, uh, from the truth that life is despair and suffering and we're
Yes.
all gonna die. Now, listen. What I love about October is just I mean, the fact that it is October. Like, I just feel like I can breathe something in the air. It's probably the LA pollution, but still, I feel like I can breathe something in the air and it gets me high on spookiness. Like, this is my shit. Like, my favorite holiday is actually Christmas, but Halloween is a close second. And listen, a spooky bitch can also be a sweet bitch, okay? And I love Christmas, but Halloween is amazing. I love Halloween. I love dressing up. I love like the feeling of like, ooh, it's October, like murder. I don't know. I don't even
What are
know how
you
to
gonna
explain it.
be? What are you gonna
But
be for Halloween?
it's it's between a literal chicken, or a surprise costume that I might be potentially working on. I have to decide now though, because it's a little over a
I
month
swear,
away.
if you're gonna
So,
be the Mothman,
um,
wow.
commitment. Am I right? Um, I'm gonna be the Motment and
Oh
Degina.
my god, I wonder what Regina looks like.
Um,
What if she just looks like the Mothman?
um, maybe we do not know. But yes, it's almost October. I'm really excited. Is it officially fall now? It's the 26th of
I
September
really hope
today.
so.
Is
I
it
feel like it
officially
has to
fall?
be.
I don't know
It's like
anything.
100 degrees
It
here,
has to
so
be, yeah.
it could be summer for all I know. Like I don't know.
I mean, where you live, there's no different. Like it's literally just scorching hot or
Yeah.
freezing cold. So really, but yes, October pumpkins. I got to carve a pumpkin for the first time last year,
Wow.
and that
You've
was
never
really
carved
exciting.
one until last year?
Um, I had never carved one.
Deprived.
For those of you who don't know, Andre, this bitch, did not live in the United States for a long time. I didn't move here until I was like 13. And in Mexico, where I used to live, that's not a thing. Well, Halloween isn't a thing to begin with. Carving pumpkins certainly isn't. And then once I moved here, like, it's not like I changed families when I moved. So if we didn't do it back there, we weren't going to do it in here. But I carved pumpkins for the first time with my boyfriend's family, with David's family, last year, and it was lit. It was literally lit. it because I'll send you a picture, Shannon. My pumpkin, I carved the word lit on it, and that
Why
was
don't
the
you
pumpkin. So there was no face. It's
you
just
should post that on our Twitter too for everyone who wants to see.
I will do it. Yes. Happy New Year, October. Here's a picture of last year's pumpkin. I have to up myself though this year. I have to do something better. I don't even know
Vagina
what.
in the pumpkin.
Anyway, vagina and the pumpkin. Um, vagina and the muffin sharing a kiss. Okay, so one last thing. For the gays listening, because these are you guys are the only one who would care. Kim Petras is an artist that we stan. Shannon does
I
not know
know
what
who
we're
Kim
talking about,
Petras
but
is.
I will show you later.
Yes, of
You know Kim
course.
Petras? Oh my
Come
god.
on.
Okay, so we're upgrading Shannon to gay icon officially, from gay ally to gay icon, because she listens to Kim Petras. She's releasing a second Halloween EP this October 1st, and I'm fucking excited. I'm also going to go see her for the second time this year on October 30th. So it's going to be one
Why is
spooky
your life
Halloween.
so good?
Literally, it's just because I live in SoCal. Like, I'm also poor. Her tickets were like $25. It's just the fact of proximity. So, bitch,
I'm
move down
trying,
here.
believe me.
So yes. Hi everyone. Now onto the topic. Today we are talking about EVPs, and that stands for extra vig penis.
Interesting. Okay, I think we just lost a few listeners. Please come back.
Marissa's mom, we're sorry. Okay. So, for those of you who have not heard about EVPs, EVPs are electronic voice phenomena. And Shannon, do you want to give us a quick rundown of what that means before I go into
I
my
think
stuff?
you kind of already know that I'm a skeptic, so I don't really believe this is a thing, but people say. Okay, so here's the thing. You take a recording, right?
The streets are talking, and what they're saying is that Danny is a ghost, and he speaks to his sister Cindy at night.
Yes, whatever that is. Okay, so you take a recording device and you press record, and then you're just like, "Yo, what up? Like, did you enjoy that sandwich?" And your friend's like, "Oh my god, no, I didn't. It tasted like ass." And then you turn off the recording and you go home and you plug it into your computer, and then you listen to it, and you're like, Danny, did you know that like while we were talking about that sandwich tasting like ass, there was like a ghost voice talking behind us? So it's like
Oh, there was a ghost voice singing Big Sean's ass featuring Nicki Minaj
and
in
then
the
you're just
background.
spooked. You're spooked for the whole night. You're spooked for the rest of your life, and you upload it to YouTube. So basically, it's you don't
Yep.
initially hear the ghost necessarily. Sometimes people do hear the ghost speaking, but the point is, the recording picks something up that sounds like someone talking that initially wasn't there before. And so people think that this phenomenon is actually spirits trying to communicate with us, but there's a lot of people who say, well, actually, there's like 1,000,010 reasons why there could be interference that is creating noises that, when put together, sound like human speech. And I kind of side with that because I've listened to a lot of EVPs, and if you weren't automatically told in the beginning what you're supposed to be hearing, my ass wouldn't hear it. You know what I mean? So I'm not down.
I guess I'm gonna like pull the same shit that I always pull, which is like, if there's 1,000,000 and only one of them is real, that means it is a real thing. And yeah, I know
But
you
like,
hate
what
that,
if the
but
one, what if the one that is real is the one where it's like, I eat ass for breakfast? Like, what if that was what the ghost was saying? Then what would you?
I mean, listen, no, Shannon, listen, Shannon. We are gonna be ghosts one day. We, like millennials, Generation Z, like we're gonna be ghosts one day, and this is our lingo. So for all we fucking know, like I know that ghosts right now are very like old timey, and ghosts back then were very Victorian in their speech, and oh, I shall haunt you, my ass. But like when we die, what do you think we're gonna say? We're gonna say shit like that, like time to eat ass, like woo. We're gonna be like, what the fuck? What the fuck was that?
Eat.
So yeah, can you imagine? Like, no, dude, can you imagine? Like, you are in your kitchen at night and you like have like a can of Coke and it's like 3 a.m. and you want to go to bed before you're gonna like go put that in the trash. So you go down to your kitchen, you like throw that in the trash can, and then you like on your left ear you hear a faint whisper of a voice saying, first, I'd freak the fuck out. But second, I'd be like, honestly, like props to you, ghost. That was lit. So what I'm saying is that's what ghosts might sound like in the future. So I would not discount the one sole EVP that is real that says what you said it said. So
I I just in this particular case, and I'm gonna be on the boat of like, okay, let's say ghosts are real, which we know I don't believe. If ghosts are real and I'm saying I believe ghosts are real, I don't think EVPs can be like mutually exclusive, because why would something in the spirit realm be detectable on our little fucking recorder that we bought on Amazon for $12? Like, I just don't buy it. Like,
I mean, like it. Okay, it's not like the recorder has interdimensional properties. That's not what the record. I mean, like that. Yeah, would make no sense because it's just some cheap recorder. It's like the voice is already in our plane, in our reality, since you can hear it with your human ear, and as long as it's not too faint, an average quality recorder should have no problem capturing that. So I don't think that's a like good argument. Like, of course, a recorder can catch that, like a faint sound, as long as it's not too faint.
but aren't some of them where you don't hear it, only the recorder picks it up?
Yes, and sometimes I think it's because like whatever was speaking was closer to the recorder's mic than it was to your ear. I don't think it's necessarily because like maybe what you're implying is that when like these entities speak to us, it's more like a psychic communication, if anything, like they're speaking to us inside our brains. And so how would a recorder like capture that? But I don't think so. I think they literally like
Or just like a spirit realm?
their spiritual self is there in the room, and so you can hear that
Okay.
voice. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, tell me about EVPs.
Yes. Okay. So actually, first, just to set the mood, I know this is a strange order that I'm gonna do this in, but I just like the idea of it. I actually want to read a story first. It's kind of a creepy pasta, so we know it's not real, but I feel like it really sets the mood for the actual EVP case that I'm gonna be touching on. So it's called "Never Record Yourself While You Sleep." Okay. So here's the thing. One, so EVPs. When people think EVPs, they usually think like ghost hunting shows or ghost hunting shows, and it's usually like a whole team, and it's like a whole project for their episode, and it's a whole crew, and they capture the thing with a recorder. Well, a new wave, I remember, of like sleep recording apps became like a thing back in like 2012, and I love it because like EVPs became a much more unintentional, because you're doing it while you're sleeping, and also much more personal and creepier and closer to home kind of experience, because like EVPs went from being like, I am here with a group of people actively trying to capture this, to just like, you know, people that unbeknownst to them, like they just wanted to hear themselves snore, were like catching stuff in their house. That must be fucking
Yeah.
terrifying. So I love this stuff because it's really creepy. So never record yourself while you sleep. Anonymous poster. Yeah, sorry. Anonymous poster. It's from scarystorypodcast.com. That is not our website. It literally sounds like. So everyone go check out Scary Story. They're a sister podcast. Okay, story now. I'm afraid that I've gotten into something not many people have experienced. I'm forced to turn off my cell phone and Wi-Fi at night while I sleep after the most bizarre incident happened about 6 months ago. You just never know who is listening, or maybe you don't want to know what you can't hear. There's an application for iPhone that can tell you about your sleep quality. I believe you can also integrate it with your Apple Watch, but I don't have one, so I just use the phone app itself and rely on the information it gathers. Everything was fine, and I was tracking my sleep patterns until I noticed that the app itself was requesting access to my microphone. I know it sounds odd, but then the app explained that it doesn't save recordings and it doesn't send them anywhere. Yeah, right, fucking Apple's listening to your snores. So I agreed and went to sleep. We know our cell phones listen to us, shut up. In the morning, there was a new notification saying that I snored, and I was curious enough to check them. Sure enough, there I was at 1:20 a.m., some snoring. I never knew that I snored, but it was good to know. There's something eerie about listening to yourself sleep. I kept on with the app as usual. Normally, you have to set it right before you go to sleep, and it wakes you up to an alarm at an optimal time, supposedly to prevent you from waking up feeling tired. One morning, I woke up earlier than usual. Way earlier, actually, at 4:45 a.m. I wasn't feeling tired, so I went to the bathroom, then for a drink of water, and got back to my room. It was still dark out. That's when I noticed the app had several recordings caught overnight. More snoring. Curious, I clicked on the first one at 2:14 a.m., and there I was, breathing loudly. But then, I gasped, in my sleep. I couldn't believe it, so I replayed the 15-second recording only to hear another voice in there. The voice was a woman's voice saying, "All alone." I replayed the audio more than 10 times before moving on to the second one. "Not like that. All alone." It kept replaying over and over. The next recording said the same thing, but the last of the recordings was what really got me. It was singing. It was a lullaby. I could hear it faintly, like the wind. I put down my phone. I could still hear it. The end. I hate it.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's scary.
So just a sweet, short little kind of mood intro to this. Okay, so what I found, I actually found on Reddit, which is where we found I at least find a lot of the material for our podcast. I mean, unless it's like very like historical or case specific, like or like a trial, like a murder, something like that. Usually, I like that Reddit has, well, obviously like the personal experiences of people very detailed and very fleshed out. So whenever I'm trying to look for, I won't say like evidence, but for like backup for something, I love anecdotal evidence, which I know is the weakest kind of evidence, but it just, I guess for narrative purposes, since we're making a podcast, to me at least is the most interesting. I know that when I hear stories, I pay way more attention than when I'm just told facts
Yeah.
about something. So this is kind of what we have. But this is real, at least according to the poster, right? So the thread is on the Ghost subreddit, r/ghost. It's called Experience Using Sleep as Android App. And this got like a bunch of upvotes. This post links to an audio clip on SoundCloud. We're actually gonna put it in at a point in a minute, as soon as I start talking about it, so you guys can listen to it, so you guys know what we're talking about. And the actual clip has over 500,000 plays. So this really blew up when this was posted like 5 years ago. So anyway, the original post, actually, I'm just gonna read it because it's not very long, and it's just best to do so. So the original post is this guy, and back in 2014, he was having some real weird experiences. He wrote about it. He said, "I use an app called Sleep as Android to improve my sleep. One of the features is that it records your nighttime noises, snoring, sleep talk, cover ruffles, cuffing, singing to Kim Petras' new EP, etc. I've been using the app since October 1st of 2013. I've never caught anything other than sounds created by me changing positions or cuffing or something like that. Although I've been told several times that I talk in my sleep by other people. On December 30th at 2:04 a.m., I caught something very weird. To set up, this night I was sleeping in my bed. My 3-year-old was with me that night as he is scared of the dark. It was just the two of us in the whole house. The next night, I decided to go through and delete my recordings and saw this particular record. In it, you can hear some clicks that start to get louder over the course of the recording. Eventually, you can hear me say, 'What are you doing?' And immediately after, there is a deep voice that says, 'Nothing.' The clicks become very loud at that point, and at the very end of the recording, you hear the same voice say, 'That's them.' And then in parentheses, the poster says, 'I think that's what it says at least.' I am pretty creeped out by this. I don't remember being awake that night." That's basically the post. Okay, so I want to stop here because we are gonna introduce the audio here. So here it is.
What are you doing? Okay.
So that was the audio. Um, Pretty creepy. I don't know about you, Shannon. I'll show it to you after the podcast.
I'm shook.
I hear. Fuck up. Shannon has not heard the EVP because I did not show it to her beforehand. But now the audience knows what we're talking about. So, and I have heard it. So I'll tell you, Shannon, that I do hear the things that are described on the original post in the EVP. So, I mean, I should call it a recording.
Okay, but if
we don't know if it's literally an electronic voice phenomena, because what if it's not a ghost at all?
do you think you would have?
And that's one of the theories. People say it's just like a burglar. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you think you would have heard those exact words if you hadn't read the post initially?
I think I would have. I would have definitely heard the guy saying, "What are you doing?" Maybe not the response of nothing or that's them. Maybe the nothing. Probably not that that's them, because it sounds kind of like, yeah, like not great. Even the poster says himself, like I said, that he thinks that's what it says, but he's not quite sure. But regardless, like, even if you can't make out the words completely, there is undeniably a pattern of conversation there. Like, there's a back and
what
forth.
you're saying.
You can just tell it's the people talking. Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of updates to his original post and a lot of detail that he goes into, basically like trying to prove to everyone that his fucking 3-year-old doesn't have a deep ass voice and wasn't like nothing and that's them, like, which I don't think the kid did that. And he's saying that it definitely wasn't him because he doesn't really talk in his sleep, at least not usually. And he actually, like, a big part of his post, really interesting, it's like a very detailed kind of like exploration as to how he couldn't have been the one to respond to himself, because the hertz level of the second voice is far too deep for him. And yeah, like, it's super interesting. I mean, it's really like nerdy. I won't go into all of it, but like basically this guy really like puts like his soul in this post, trying to like prove to people, which I think is so sad, because like you're already scared and then you have to prove to all these people that like what you experienced was real, to prove to people that he wasn't the one responding in that conversation. He wasn't talking to himself.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, the less creepy explanation to that would be, and when I first heard it, it did sound like just regular people. It would be that, it was just like a couple of burglars, maybe. However, that kind of goes out the window when the OP explains that the audio clip, like when uploaded and compressed, like it doesn't sound exactly as it does on his app, and that you can't really hear like how deep it actually sounds. That like the second person's voice apparently doesn't sound as deep as it should in the SoundCloud clip, and like maybe that's why you think that it just sounds like a normal person, but like to him it sounded so deep it almost sounded like a movie demon. So there's that.
Okay, well,
it's really sad.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
Let's pretend like it's real, right? So, are we thinking that EVPs are a ghost, or is it a demon, or what is it?
Well, usually, I mean, I guess literally before today, I never really put much thought into it, and I just figured they were ghosts, because all I'd ever heard about EVPs was from ghost hunting shows. But after this, I mean, I guess it could be a ghost. It's not like saying nothing or saying that's them is very malicious, but like that deep a voice, that kind of like raises a red flag for me. I mean, I don't know that demons are known to like be able to be recorded. Usually it is just, I mean, if you believe in ghosts, it usually is just ghosts that are able to be recorded. It's something about like they once had a physical presence in the like earthly realm, and like therefore they once had a human voice. And so if one entity is going to be able to like replicate that in the afterlife, it would be them. It wouldn't be a demon, because I can never actually lift here, and something like that. Some like new age spirituals, like kind of psycho, I don't want to say bullshit, but about why there's a differentiation. But I mean, it is true that demons are not known for being able to like be captured on a recording. they're able to talk through people, like during possession, if you believe that,
Well,
but not by
that's like a good
themselves.
segue because I was gonna say, in the Conjuring case with the girl in Britain, she was talking in a deep voice and she
Uh-huh.
was possessed by something. What if
Uh-huh.
that 3-year-old was possessed by something and he was talking?
Um. Oh, I hate that. I just got this image in my head. Holy shit. Ooh, and then he finishes talking, and then he like tucks himself back into bed with his dad, who he was sleeping with that night because he's scared of the dark. But that kid's now fucking evil. Ooh, I hate that. He's sleeping with the enemy. Kill the
Oh no,
3-year-old.
no, no,
Okay,
no.
so
Too far.
dang, that is scary. Ooh, I hadn't thought of that. That's a pretty creepy image, Shannon. I mean, it's
Yeah.
possible, right? I mean, hell, it's
Anything is
possible.
possible if you believe in hell.
Um,
And hell believes in you
um,
too.
just like the Mothman. So, this is kind of sad because like the guy got so spooked by this that he says he had to like beef up his home security basically and like change locks,
All
kinds
good
of things.
things, he's protecting his stuff
Um,
too, not just his soul.
I mean, true. He says that like after that one recording, he had no more weird voice recordings, but there were one or two more instances of the clicking noise waking him up at night. That clicking noise, again, I mean, you'll listen to the audio eventually. You know exactly what I'm talking about for those the listeners who already listened to it. And me, like the clicking noises are very strange. The guy says that the sounds when they woke him up after the original recording, they seem to be coming from the area of his fan, which is about 12 feet away from his bed, but that every time like the clicking noises would wake him up and he tried getting closer to them, that they started to fade away. So like when he got to the fan, it wasn't coming from his fan at all, and he could tell that it had just stopped. It was like very weird. So like it almost sounds like whatever was causing the clicking noises like was something sentient and like purposefully stopped whenever the guy woke up or approached some spot in his bedroom.
Maybe
Ugh,
the
creepy.
fan is evil.
Maybe the fan is evil. Okay, have you ever heard like total aside? Have you ever heard that in South Korea like there's this myth like people believe that if you like sleep with a fan on, the fan in the room will absorb all the oxygen and you'll die from asphyxiation?
No, I didn't know that.
That is a thing. Yeah, that is the thing, and it's like so silly and easy to prove that it's not real, but like it's still kind of a like parents say that to their kids, kind of. You want to hear like the darkest part though? Apparently, South Koreans do this because oh my god, what was it? Something about like when people kill themselves, and like they're found in their beds or something. Like the family wants to have something to tell the kids or something like that. Like it's really bizarre. And so they're like, it was the fan because that's far more digestible. I don't know. It's kind of twisted.
Was
But
it
anyway,
their biggest
yeah.
fan? That was such a delayed laugh.
Yes. So yeah, my aside is done. So that is the case for this guy. Yeah, I have no idea where the clicking comes from. From what I hear, I don't think it was like burglars. I think it was something paranormal, especially like when you add the clicking to it. That's really bizarre. But I don't know if it was like a demon or a ghost. I mean, fingers crossed for ghosts, right? They're easy to get rid of.
I'm gonna go
but-
with advanced
Yeah.
AI fan. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, the
all right.
fan
All
wanted
right.
him dead for some reason.
The last statement from this guy is just this is like an update and later update on his original post. He says that the whole thing was pretty traumatizing for him. He says, I don't think I will ever know what the hell happened that night, but I'm now 100% certain that the voice was not mine or my child's. Well, at least not your human child. So we'll leave it at
Can
that. And best of luck to Best of luck to little Johnny if he's indeed
Can you
possessed.
imagine this guy pulling up in like the Carl's Jr. drive-through with this kid in the car seat, and like they start ordering, and then like there's just this deep voice being like, "An extra fries."
Okay, so what you got?
Okay, so I just had like scatterbrained research all over the place. Like I was just like trying to find anything I could on EVPs, you know?
Uh-huh.
And I did explore Reddit as well, just to kind of see what was up. And I listened to some on YouTube too, just for like research purposes. And that's kind of how I got discouraged, actually. So I stopped listening to them. The point that I'm
Okay.
trying to make is if you all want to go listen to some EVPs on YouTube, feel free. But I don't know. I'm not buying it. But with that being said, the majority of what I have to talk about is marginally skepticism. So apologies
All
for
right.
that. So let's get started. So this is actually published on the Skeptical Inquirer. Amazing.
Do you write for that publication, Shannon? Because it sounds like it's right up your
I
alley.
founded it. Just kidding. Just kidding. Anyway, this article is called "Electronic Voice Phenomena: Voices of the Dead?" Question mark. Very good question indeed. This was written by a guy named James Alcock in 2004. So we're talking 15 years ago. I always forget that it's like I feel like 2010 was like last year, but apparently it was 8 years ago. Like I don't understand that. Like
I
that
know.
makes no
Go
sense.
figure.
I don't do math, so that could be part of the issue. So I was actually surprised that you didn't talk more about the history of EVPs because I was like, oh, Andre will definitely do that. But luckily for you, I actually did pull some stuff in the hopes that you wouldn't talk about
Ooh.
it. So I kind
All
of want to
right.
jump into this. Yeah. This is from that same article I was talking about. So there's some history before what I'm about to talk about with like Thomas Edison and like the telephone and like people think that he created a spirit phone and all this weird stuff. I'm not going to cover that because don't care for him. Didn't he like
Yeah.
steal the light bulb anyway? Like I don't know.
Yeah, he did. We don't stand.
We do not stand. So I want to talk about Friedrich Jurgensen. So Friedrich Jurgensen was a archaeologist, a philosopher, a linguist, and a painter. A film documentary maker too. And he had a very big
Ooh.
interest in EVPs, and this began when he was recording bird songs with a tape recorder, and he could hear human voices on the tape even though there had been no one in the vicinity.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that's kind of interesting because, for one, I'm obsessed with birds, and for a while,
You like birds?
I love birds. I love to look at birds. I love to hear birds.
Oh,
I
that's
love
nice to
bird poop. Just kidding.
hear. Noted. Okay, birthday gift ideas for Shannon. I wrote it down.
Okay, yeah, it might be difficult for you to attain that. But my point is that when birds in spring are singing, and I don't know if this happens in spring, I'm just giving you an example. When they're singing and they're trying to like fuck each other, basically that's what the bird songs are. It's them trying to attract other birds. It's really, really loud. And it's really, really intense. And so the fact that he could hear human voices, even though there's no one around, gives me like a weird, like, bird box brain. It just, like, yeah, that's really strange to me. And, I don't know. So he began to start recording nothing. Like, and that's not like, that's literally it. He would go to a quiet place where there was no one around, and he would record nothing for hours, because that's just
Wow.
what Jurgensen felt like doing. And, and to, like, no one's surprise, because this is what we're talking about, he detected voices on these tapes where there was literally no one around, nothing happening. Why is there human voices? And so he actually published a book called Rosterna Fran Rimden, translated to Voices from Space. So, yeah, and according to
Oh my
Jurgensen,
god, are EVPs aliens? Holy shit, we hadn't considered that.
we hadn't considered that actually. That would be interesting.
What
Huh.
if, for the case that I talked about, it was actually a couple of gray aliens, just like, a guy and his gray alien mate, two gray aliens in this person's bedroom, and they were about to like they're planning on abducting this like parent and child duo, but before they wanted to like scout. And so they went into the bedroom, and like the guy woke up and was like, "What's going on?" But then like the gray aliens pulled like some kind of like magic, like, "Oh, you're having a dream," like hypnosis, and they were
We're
like,
not here. We're
"Nothing."
not really here.
Yeah, like nothing. But like the thing was still recording them though, the app.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "Oh, okay." And then one of the gray aliens said to his partner, "That's them." Dude, makes total sense.
Yeah, no, that totally does make sense in a weird way. That I like how we always find a way to make it all about aliens because we both only believe in aliens.
I know. But like aliens don't fucking speak English, so literally like
That's
forget
them. Maybe they
That
have
is
like
them.
maybe Google Translate is connected to their neck so they know like what's going down. I don't know. I like that. That's good. So, back to Jurgensen. He, according to him, recognized some of the voices that his tape recorder was picking up, and I guess he heard the pet nickname that his mom had given to him, and he assumed, like, this is my mom, but my mom is deceased. My mom is dead. So how am I hearing my mom say this pet nickname? So, yeah, that's just really weird. But when you also think about, like, people mourning, I guess, like, that's one way to hear it. But it was picked up on the tape recorder. I mean, I haven't heard it, but, you know, just things to think about in terms of that.
Yeah, so how are you gonna debunk that, Shannon? What, the tape recorder was mourning?
Yeah, the tape recorder was really upset about it. Okay, so with like hearing his mother's voice, this is when he was kind of like, okay, maybe it's people who are dead that I'm hearing and recording. And so he published something called Radio Link with the Dead out of response to this. And then this guy named Dr. Konstantin Raudive, I don't know how to say that. He read Jurgensen's book, Voices from Space, and he was so intrigued by it that he met with Jurgensen in 1965. And they decided to take some EVP recordings and, you know, they wanted to, you know, do some research on this, hear some voices. And then one night, as Raudive was listening to one recording, he heard a number of voices, and then he played it over and over again, trying to make sense of what it was saying. And he realized that some of them were in different languages. So there was this number of voices on one recording. Some people were speaking German, some were speaking French, some were speaking Latvian, I guess. And the very last voice on this recording said, "Va dormir, Marguerite." Go to sleep, Margaret.
Ooh.
Which is kind of creepy. I don't know what that means.
What do you think? Like, okay, when was this again?
This was in the 60s when they were doing
What do you
this
think
research.
the guy would have done if, like, between the Vladimir Marguerite and the Latvian and the German, he heard a faint, like, ra ra ah ah ra ra ma, like just like in the background, like. No, this would take a turn. This would mean EVPs are actually just like future premonitions. Boy, that'd be fucking interesting. Future sonical predictions. Future audio predictions. Amazing.
I'm gonna have to veto that because we're completely discounting with that theory that Lady Gaga is an alien, and aliens don't age. You know what I'm saying? So what we were actually picking up on was Lady Gaga, a gray alien in the room at that time.
You're right. I'm being stupid. She probably had already written that bop 50 years ago because it takes you that long to write something that good.
I don't think it's a song, Andre. I think that's some sort of communication device that she does to speak to the other aliens. Like, I think that we need to think like an alien, and I think this is what's happening. And she just happens to make millions off it.
I think that's really good. You're really opening my mind here. I hadn't considered those options. You're right.
Well, this is why we have these conversations so that we can stay woke to what's really happening in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to jump to conclusions too soon.
Yeah, she only won, like, Star is Born only won that original song Oscar because all her like gray alien friends like threatened to probe all the like Academy Award fucking like members. Yeah.
What if all the people who vote in the Academy Awards are just Greys?
Yeah. What if? And she's the queen. I mean, yeah, we don't know.
It makes sense. It makes sense. She wore a meat dress, like that was totally normal to her.
She was like, this is how I wear the humans that I capture.
This is what humans do, right?
They make for great clothing.
Yeah. Okay, so Radive wrote a book called Breakthrough, and in this book he kind of talked about that go to sleep Margaret quote that he had heard, and here's what he had to say about it. These words made a deep impression on me, as Marguerite Petra Tozuki had died recently, and her illness and death had greatly affected me. And so now we're seeing this other doctor who's encountering these words being said in the close proximity to him of someone that had recently died. And so that kind of confirmed a little bit of the EVP situation that they were exploring. And so after this, he had recorded over 100,000 audio tapes.
Wow.
These were considered to be recorded under strict laboratory conditions. He collaborated with a lot of parapsychologists. There were over 400 people involved in the research who somehow corroborate hearing these voices as well. And so what people were referring to it at this time was raw dive voices after him, which is, neither here nor there. I mean, Jorgensen kind of introduced him to it, but whatever, it's fine. Kind of just sideswiped that one.
He pulled an Edison on EVPs.
He basically did, yeah. But so he has several approaches when thinking about recording EVPs. So here's his approaches. So there's a microphone voice where you leave the tape recording running with no one talking. So that's the microphone voice. The radio voice is when one records white noise from a radio that is not tuned to any station. So if you're recording white noise from a radio and you hear voices, that's a radio voice. A diode voice.
Wait a second. I feel like that one is not as good as the other kinds. Probably just because while the noise is not like coming from any specific station, since the frequency is not on a specific station, I still think like voices can still come through from other stations. Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like
I think there's a high probability for interference with that one for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see what you're saying.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, and then diode voices. This is when someone records a crystal.
I think I've heard of this actually. Does Gwyneth
Yeah.
Paltrow do it? Because it sounds like the kind of thing she'd do. She'd record a crystal and then put it on her vagina and then sell it for $300 on Etsy.
She could probably get more money for something that's been in her vagina.
Oh, wait. And then oh my God, I don't know if I told you this. I hope I did, because then the reference will make sense. And then she like puts it in a glass of water because it's alkaline, but then she puts a little bit of lemon on it.
Yes, you told me. That's really funny. I actually saw a meme about that. Like after you told me, I was like, oh, I know about that. What is that? Oh, never mind. Ha ha ha. I do that.
Wow, so relatable.
So relatable. So he also had a kind of characteristic of what an EVP would sound like. It's just like that. So
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of EVPs like that.
The voice entities speak very rapidly in a mixture of languages. They speak in a definite rhythm, which sometimes seems forced on them, which is why it sounds choppy. And it's shortened kind of like a telegram style, and grammatical rules are frequently abandoned. So that's his rules.
What does that mean, that it's forced on them?
Like maybe because it's coming from the dead, they have to speak in a specific manner in order to get it to you. Like it's harder to speak to the living, maybe. I think that's kind of what I was getting from that.
So maybe if an EVP said, I want to eat your ass, then we know it's not real.
Yeah, because it would be more like, eat ass.
I'm going to make that my new ringtone. Thank you.
If anyone would like to buy that as a ringtone, we'll list it somewhere for 99 cents.
Link
a
in the
download.
description.
It's not suitable for work. Please do not set it on your work-related telephone.
I think we're actually gonna like put it up on iTunes for 99 cents.
You know what that actually sounds like? It sounds like a sheep.
What? Yeah.
It doesn't
Oh
even
my
sound like a
god!
ghost.
Ooh, last episode I said I was gonna go to the county fair, and I actually did go to the county fair, and I touched some fucking sheep, dude. It was great.
Wow, good for you,
I know.
honestly.
I fed some sheep. They were so cute.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
back to ghosts.
So there's something called the Association for the Scientific Study of Anomalous Phenomena. This is an actual association, and fairly certain they're not for profit, but I could be wrong about that. So they have possible explanations for what this could be if it's not spirits. So here's one common explanation: cross-modulation. So I think it's kind of easy to say. I think we kind of covered that in the radio interference thing of like, it's several different sources of noise coming together, and it just, when it comes together, it sounds like something. So
Sounds like too many things would have to happen in the correct order for that too.
I don't know. And then that kind of leads into apophenia, which is where we perceive connections and find meaningfulness in unrelated things. And so what this is like the audio version of a Rorschach ink blot test, you know? Like we're putting together these noises, which I genuinely kind of feel like it's probably true, you know? Like, I can't say for sure where the noises are coming from, but I wouldn't say that they're words. I think they just sound like words.
You're gonna listen to the EVP that I was talking about later, and you will hear at least the nothing clear as day.
Well, it's already spoiled though, because it's not like scientific, because I already know what I'm expecting
I
to
mean,
hear.
I guess I could have shown it to you before, but I didn't think of that. But like, I mean, there's no way I couldn't like not talk about it. So whatever, too late.
One article in 2015 by Michael Nees, he's an assistant professor of psychology at Lafayette College. He wrote an article called "Hearing Ghost Voices Relies on Pseudoscience and Fallibility of Human Perception." Don't be mad at me, I didn't write that title.
Ugh, already fuming. Me and my ghost friends are not happy.
Planning on having a ghost rally. Okay, so in one scientific study, paranormal research was found to be credible and scientific when it was shown using technological tools such as recording devices. And so one theory they're talking about is like on these ghost hunter TV shows, when they have all these equipment things and recording devices and stuff, like it really just feeds into this idea of like, okay, this has to be real because they're using technology to do it. And other evidence has suggested that popular opinion may outweigh scientific credibility. So, like, what they're saying is the more we talk about EVPs being real and the more we watch ghost shows and believe that it's real, the more we're going to believe that it's real despite what science is saying. And
Okay, wait. Big ass fucking pause. Okay, two things. One, I forget. Two.
Okay. Kind of lends credence to my theory here.
I read something. I think it might have been like on a comment on that Reddit post that I was talking about. That was
They're
like,
better than
like,
this research, aren't they?
Oh my god! No, listen. It's not person that I was like proof of anything. It's just a good like thing to think about, which is that maybe the reason science like doesn't have this fall under its scope is because it hasn't opened its arms wide enough quite yet to like be able to truly actually study this with a new or maybe different like method, like something like you and I have touched on this before, like okay, oh my god, like okay, fucking aliens, right? Like aliens aren't real, blah blah blah. Like I mean, I guess it's different because it's not like we presented science with an alien corpse and they were like, it's fake when it obviously, it would have been real, for example. I guess it's different. Maybe if they saw that, they'd be like, oh, well, the aliens are definitely real. And, we don't have a literal ghost to present to them. But what I am saying is that, like, maybe under the current understanding of how the scientific method works, like, ghosts aren't an understandable piece. So if we just tweak that somehow, I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah, in theory, I think what you're trying to say is like science hasn't caught up yet, right? Like we don't have a way of measuring it, so
yes,
how do we know?
that's what I think, because I fully believe in ghosts, or at least some kind of, like, I don't know. I mean, just entities in general. They don't even have to be ghosts. Like, they could be demons. The fact is that it's something outside the normal scope of our normal everyday reality. These things are obviously out there, at least to me it seems. And, like, the fact that we can't capture them and study them under the scientific method does not make them not real. Like, that pisses me off so much, and is honestly partly why I was so passionate about starting this whole podcast. I love talking about this stuff because, one, I don't get to talk about this stuff with a lot of people besides you, and two, because I am sure that at least some people that listen to this are gonna be full skeptics, not moderate, but like full on. And maybe hearing such like a clashing opinion coming from me is gonna like open their minds. Like, it's just, and to me that's a good thing, because I honestly believe that these things are out there. I don't know, I just feel like there's so many like photos, video evidence, testimonials, like across even like millennia, like fucking cave paintings and weird shit. Like, did you just do a big burp, or were you possessed?
That was me attempting to make an EVP for you.
Thank you. Anyway, that's my point. That's my point.
Okay, they're not out there, Andre. They're here. They're surrounding you, they're watching you, and they're licking your earlobe because they know you believe in them.
Ugh, that's not gonna scare me. If anything, nowadays, as opposed to when I first started the podcast, I was like, if I talk about them, they're gonna come to me. Nowadays, it's more like, the more I talk about them, 37 episodes deep, it's like the more I kind of normalize the idea, and if I ever do encounter some spooky shit, I'll be less afraid. And I'm not gonna think to myself like, oh, I talk about it, so I put it out in the universe, and that's why they've come for me. I don't know if I believe so much in like the law of manifestation anymore, so I think I'm fine.
No, I
so
mean
you're not
that
gonna
they're...
spook me.
No, Andre, I'm saying that they're your friends. They're on your side. They
Oh,
appreciate you
no.
rallying for them.
Thank you.
And they're licking
Is
your
that why they're licking my
earlobe.
earlobe?
Yeah, that's why they're licking your earlobe.
Oh, that's
Oh.
a nice thing. That's like a thank you.
That was like a thank you. It's like saying like, yeah, Andre, thanks. You're supporting us. Lick, lick.
Great.
Okay, I do have one more thing I want to talk about,
yeah.
okay?
Go ahead.
And I'm just going to talk about it, okay?
Okay.
You're gonna
Yeah,
understand
that's
a
usually
lot.
what you do with things that you want to talk about.
I'm sorry, what? I don't know how to
That's
talk.
usually.
Is
that's
this a
usually what
podcast?
you
Are
do.
you recording me right now? Are you recording me?
I'm not cutting any of this, so.
That's fine. Okay, so this is in the Washington Post, and it was written by Justin Moyer, September 24th, 2015. Okay, and I want to talk to you about Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures. It's a TV show
Okay.
starring Mark and Debbie Constantino, audio specialists, and Mark says, what EVP is, it's the capturing of spirit voices on recording devices. And Debbie, his wife, talks about hearing this disembodied voice saying, I'll kill you. And she said it was freaking amazing. So I want to give you that, and then I want to tell you the rest of the article and what this article is actually about. And I'm not saying this is indicative to anything at all. I'm just saying this is what happened, and I just want to bring it up because it's spooky.
Okay.
Mark killed Debbie, and then he killed himself.
Oh my god. No.
Yeah.
Oh no. But also fuck you, because you're like drawing this fucking like equivalent. If you believe in EVPs, you must be a crazy person. Like.
Well, here's the thing. So people think that maybe it was the EVPs or something that like got to him and made him go crazy or something, and then he like
Ooh.
snapped. But I'm not entirely sure that that's true because I think that there was some allegations over the years of there being domestic violence in their household. And so I don't really imagine that that's what happened. But I wanted to bring it up anyway because this was just something I had never heard about before and I had never watched that show. And so the fact that the two people who were on that show are now dead due to crazy circumstances, just like,
I mean,
yeah.
like logical me is like this was a crazy person that just happened to like ghost. But the narrative side of me that tells people to kill 3-year-olds is like, hey, and also that babies are the new like the new omen and the child of Satan. Is like, hey, um, this guy was really trying to like attract these things to himself because he needed to record them. Maybe he overstepped at some point, overdid something. And I mean, not even actually he didn't even have to overstep or whatever. Maybe he just had a bad recording session where whatever he was recording decided to follow him home and did not leave him alone. And that's, people, why you don't go into haunted houses, or really why you don't go out of your way to record fucking ghosts. So,
Ooh, I just had a really good idea. You gave me a
what?
really good
No.
idea. I think when I try a Ouija board for the first time, which now I'm thinking I should do on Halloween, I'm gonna record it.
Shannon, what the fuck? Like, of all the days, you want to die, don't you?
I just think that you have the best ideas, and I would be remiss not to jump on them. You know what I mean?
When the fuck did I come up with that?
You just said it. You were like, people shouldn't like record themselves talking
Oh,
to
yes, but I
ghosts.
didn't say anything about Halloween, the literal night where all ghosts, like, travel through the portal into our earthly realm and shit. Like, no. I
Okay,
already
but
don't want you to do it at all, but if you are gonna do it, don't do it on Halloween. Like,
you,
God, be spooky, not stupid.
Andre, you need to understand that at the beginning of this episode, you were talking about Halloween and how excited you were, and so my brain, that still exists 45 minutes into the past, put that together, made two and two, and now it's going to happen.
Oh my God. I cannot talk about anything that could be potentially dangerous because your brain's gonna take it and jump on it and be like, let's do something completely reckless, like summon a demon into my fucking back. Oh,
Well,
Shannon.
you
God.
know, you just be glad I don't live in Southern California anymore because this would be happening in your backyard next to your chickens.
Oh my God. Oh, you'd like behead one of my chickens and make like a fucking blood pentagram. I would
I
not
would
forgive you for
never
that. I
do
love my
that.
chickens.
I love your
Um,
chickens.
okay. Well, I mean, listen, my advice is do not do it at all. If you
Okay, so
must
what I'm
do it,
hearing
do
is
not
that
do it on Halloween.
you know I'm gonna do it anyway, but you just want to save your own
Yes.
ass legally. Okay.
No, I also want to save your. I mean, like, I don't want you to like go all paranormal activity on me and like become possessed and eventually come to my house and kill me one night. By the way, that'd make a killer episode. Get it? But mostly, I just want. Okay, listen. In all seriousness, hi listeners, we're gonna get serious for one little second. I just want you to actually be safe because I'm telling you, I think these things are a thing and they're out there. And I don't know how many fucking like testimonials I've read to you doing our Ouija episode or doing our Demons and Witches episode or literally anything. So it's kind of it's something I'd never do for sure. You know that. So that should tell you something. Um,
How about I light some sage beforehand to bless the area, and then light some sage afterwards?
I mean, yeah, like if you must, sage before and afterwards is good. And also, if you must, obviously do it right. We've talked about it. You have to not be alone, not be in a dark place. Whether you do it at night or at day doesn't really make a difference, but you shouldn't be alone. It shouldn't be a huge room, too much space for demon activity, I guess, or whatever. And also, I think like that circle of salt around you and your whoever you're doing it with, and when you're done you're supposed to say something like goodbye and something like that, like if you get,
Um,
the rules. I don't know, look them up.
I guess. I just feel like what you're doing is you put the circle of salt around you, and then nothing happens because you limited. They can't reach you. So like, why would I do that? I'm not gonna do that.
I thought it was for like protection from actual like demonic infestation, not I don't think that's gonna block their cell phone waves to you. So like I don't think that's gonna block their ghost AT&T and like they won't be able to talk to you.
Okay, well, I'll be recording that on Halloween live stream. Just kidding. We all know I can't live stream.
Link in the description. It's actually gonna be an IG live. Everyone tune in.
Yeah.
I'm executive producing it.
Andre's the ghost. Surprise!
Oh my god.
You just hear in the background, yeet, yeet, yeet.
Okay, did you have anything else?
Nope, that's all. That's all I got for you.
Okay, great. Well, I'm glad we ended on that note. Listen, you had a good life. You were a good friend.
Thanks. It's good to know. You can repeat all that at my funeral.
I'm not good at eulogies, but listen, I'll do it for you. No, but like, okay, Shannon, if you actually are gonna do it, you know that I'm spooked. You obviously have like balls of steel, so you're good. But like, knock on wood, still, and obviously when you do it right, ho. Don't fuck around. Um, you can still have fun and do your silly little clown act without like actually becoming possessed. So do that, please.
What I'm genuinely concerned about is that it's $20. Like, that's just a lot of money. I don't even make $20 an hour. Like, yeah.
Right. Priorities, obviously. So everyone, please pray for Shannon. Keep your thoughts and prayers. She's going to need it since she's going to the hellish realm next. Thank you for listening. We appreciate any and all suggestions. If you have any, please DM us at TalkScary on Twitter. You can also listen to our podcast on all podcast listening platforms like iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, and Google Play, Apple Podcasts, etc. Shannon, any last thoughts?
Sure. DM us any questions you have for the spirits that you want me to ask on Halloween, and I'll consider it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thanks.
listen, if you're already sacrificing yourself for us, I might even send you some questions like, what the hell?
You're gonna be like, what actually happened to John Lennon?
Wow, dark. Everyone, thank you for listening. The Mothman is real. Please don't play with fucking Ouija boards. Don't eat any large meals before bedtime. The Gina is also real, and she's in your house. And we will talk to you next week. Good night.
Good night.